Hello everyone and welcome to the next episode of Outside of Life, where it's all about how you can turn your creative passion into a profession. My name is Eva and my guest today is a textile and fashion designer originally from Buenos Aires, Argentina, now living in Brighton, England. Ever since she was a child, she was always creating things and this passion never left her. She studied textile and fashion design in her hometown of Buenos Aires. After finishing the university, she started with designing clothes. However, the fashion industry wasn't for her, and now she spends her days making adorable, handmade, unique toys and baby mobiles out of Woolfelt for the little ones. Her brand, What a Curly Life, is an outcome of her passion for creating and love of bringing joy to everyone. The intention behind every product from What a Curly Life shop is to make baby nurseries unique, bring up the smiles, and capture everyone's attention. So please welcome Anabella Cahwje, and let's get to the interview. So welcome everyone to the next episode of Outside of Life, and I'm super happy to have Annie here. Please welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi everyone. Hi.
And let's start maybe with your background and how you got to design and creative parts. So did you always knew that you wanted to work with art?
Yeah, I kind of like always knew. I always knew I love to create stuff in different ways. Like I could be creating with porcelain. I don't know, with fabrics, drawing, like anything that involves like something creative for me is amazing. It's just like it makes me feel really happy. I don't know. I always have to do something every single day. Like I love it.
And
I really enjoy it.
When you were a child, did you have some kind of like a fascination maybe with animals or cute stuff or different materials? Did you play with that when you were a kid?
Yeah, with fabrics. I've always played with fabrics, always, like for my making clothes for my dolls or things like that. And also with, I don't really know the name in English. It's like a doll. We call it cold porcelain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if in English it's the same.
I think so.
But yeah, it's basically like something to do modeling. I would watch TV programs and I was just like trying to do what they were doing. But I was really like 5 years old or 6 years old. So obviously I will never get the results they were having. But to me, it was amazing. It was just like, wow, look what I can create just with my hands. So I used to love that.
So it's like, I think like a clay, right? Where you can...
It's like, exactly.
Okay.
It's like, it is not the same, but it's really similar to clay, really similar.
Yeah, because now people start to create stuff with the polymer clay, I think. That's like a new thing because it's easy to, how do you say, like harden it or bake it in the oven or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. You can do it at home. I bought some actually, but I have never tried it yet. Yeah, I didn't try it yet. It's
Cool.
there in one of my drawers.
Looking forward to see that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really popular now, and I've seen amazing things people is making. So.
And now, basically, you mentioned before the recording that you moved a bit, and now you lived in UK. And maybe can you tell us the story how you got there and what was your like traveling and moving story?
Yeah, well, all right. Like I told you, it's a quite big, long story, but I'll try to make it short for you. Basically, I was backpacking around Central America, and I ended up living in Mexico for a few months, like 10 months. When I was there, some of my friends in Mexico, they were like, I was telling them I wanted to go to live to Europe. And I wanted to go to England to learn English, basically. And then they were like, well, you have to go to London. We love it down there. We've been there for a year. Well, they basically convinced me to go to London. And then after a few weeks, I met this group of guys that were down there in Mexico. I was living in Playa del Carmen. It's a really nice place, basically. And I met this group of guys and a few girls, and I was having a lot of fun with them, and they were from London. And basically I was telling them how much I wanted to go to London, and I wanted to go to live down there. And they were like, yeah, well, we have a flat, we rent like our rooms in there. So they convinced me as well to go there. And I was like, okay, fine. And in between that group, it was like the guy that is now my boyfriend. So I moved down to London after a few months. yeah, we were there for like 8 months. I wasn't really happy in London. Like, it wasn't really for me because after being living in like the Caribbean, it was like such a big change for me, like a big city. So yeah, we would come down to Brighton every now and again because my boyfriend is from Brighton, basically. And so we would visit his family. Um, I was like, oh, I love Brighton. Let's just move down there. Well, basically, I convinced him to move down to Brighton, and now we've been here for like 3 years already. So I love it. I love it down here. It's really, really nice. It's really, to me, it's super different compared to London. It's so much more fun.
Super cool.
It's more chill as well. It's more chill. Like, yeah, I really enjoy it down here. I love it.
Nice.
I really have.
And so, which were maybe like the biggest decisions you had to do in order to follow your artistic passion, like to create these creatures and art?
Yeah.
So
well, that was really hard to me because when I first came to England, I didn't really speak any English. Like, I knew English, I could speak, but it was really hard to me, like, for me to understand people. So I thought it was I wanted to try and find a job for me, like, related to like a creative area. But I thought at the same time, I don't really have the skills because I don't really speak English. So I couldn't really do it. I was working as a waitress. And then down here in Brighton, I was doing the same, working as a waitress or in a bar, in a kitchen as well. So it was really hard because I really wanted to do stuff, but I didn't have the time because I was working all the time, but I wasn't really happy at the same time because obviously I was doing something I didn't really enjoy. So yeah, that was something like it was a big point for me when I was like, okay, I have to do something because I wasn't happy. When I turned 30, I'm about to turn 32 now. So, but when I turned 30, I realized I was not doing what I love, which is creating. And I was like, I'm not happy with what I'm doing with my life. I'm just living my life, but letting the days pass by. So I had already started with my little toys, but it wasn't a job for me. It was more like a hobby. I started this as a hobby. It was basically something like recreational to forget about my working life. So I would do it every time I had a day off. Yeah, and then I was like, well, let's just, like, people were telling me, oh, they're really lovely. You should try and sell them on Etsy or somewhere else. So I started my shop on Etsy, but still, I started in 2015. But back then, it wasn't a proper job for me. To me, it was just like, okay, let's just see what happens. Let's see if people like it. And that's when I started to sell, but obviously not too much because I wasn't promoting them. I was just like, okay, let's see what happens. I would just take pictures and put them on Etsy. And yeah, when I turned 30, I was like, oh, I'm not happy with what I'm doing with my life. I kind of like hit rock. It was like hitting bottom rock for me. Like, to me, it was like, no, I have to do something because, yeah, I'm not doing what I want to do. And I was kind of like disappointed about myself because, for example, if you asked me 10 years ago before turning 30, like when I was 20, I would have think like, no, I'm going to be really successful, like with what I like to do. And then suddenly I was 30 and I was just working in the kitchen with my boyfriend because he has a kitchen in a pub. So yeah, I wasn't happy. I was just like, okay, let's just do something else. I just decided I was going to quit my everyday job, and I was just going to put all my energies into this shop, like the What a Curly Life, what it is now. Yeah, I will never regret that because now it's like completely different to what it used to be. Obviously, it's my everyday job, like, yeah, full-time job basically.
Yeah. And is there something you wish you knew before you started?
What do you mean, like
like maybe some advice or something maybe you change opinion about, like being in like art business and something you kind of learn on the way?
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to start this earlier. I think my biggest fear has always been to fail. Like, failure has always been my biggest fear. Like, and obviously if you don't try, you never know. And I know it took me a long time to try because I was afraid like of doing something that could not like succeed basically. And I was like thinking more about the negative side rather than thinking about the positive side of it. And I thought it was really late by the time I realized about it, but it's never late actually. It's just like I think you have to go through all this process to realize what you want to do for the rest of your life. So yeah, back then it felt like I was really sad. I remember being really sad, but now I'm like, well, it happened the way it had to happen. Basically, that's the way it has to be. It had to be back then, and yeah, that's why I'm here right now. Maybe it would have been completely different if it happened earlier. So yeah, I would say I would give me the advice of just risk it. Like there's nothing you can lose, like nothing actually. Yeah. It's just show the world what you can do, and yeah, let's see what people think about it.
That's really cool. And so how did you decide on the medium you want to work with, like the felt toys, or did you have a mentor or someone who inspired you to do this?
Well, not really a mentor. I started to feel like people were starting to use this felt, and I was like, I don't really know what this is about, but I kind of like the idea of Woolfelt, and I saw the results. I remember one day I was on Etsy and just like scrolling down and seeing all these amazing things that people was creating with felt, and I was like, wow, I really like it. I want to try it, and that day I bought online like some felt, like they're really tiny pieces of felt, and I was like, well, let's see what I can make with them. Yeah, I remember like that day. I really remember I was choosing all the colors, and yeah, basically when it arrived, I started to create. My first creation was a sausage dog. I love sausage dogs. And I was just like looking for like inspiration. Yeah, and I had a sausage dog when I was like younger. Yeah, I created this. I was like, oh, this is really fun. Like it was good fun for me. And it was really relaxing. So yeah, that day I started and I never stopped. And it was like, 2 years ago, maybe a little bit longer ago. Yeah, like since then I remember the first day I created the first little toy I created, from the ones that are now on my shop, is the little bunny. Mm-hmm. I just draw it, and I was like, I really want to create this, but I don't really know how. I do know how to do patterns because I have a degree on fashion design. Mm-hmm. I know it's completely different, but basically I know how to make clothes, and I know how to cut the patterns, and I just draw this little bunny, and I was like, I want it to look like this, like just like this. So I just draw the patterns, and it turned out like really cute. At least I loved it. So yeah, like since then I started to creating all the rest of the animals similar to this bunny, basically with the same idea. Yeah. And yeah, that's how my brand started, like just with the little toys. Yeah. And then one day I was just like playing around with some clouds, and I put it in a basket, and I was like, oh wow, it looks really cute. And and that's when I don't know who, like just kind of remember, but someone told me that could be a really nice crib mobile for a baby. And that's when I started to get like this shape of like a baby brand, basically. And I was just like having so much fun creating these things. I loved it. It all happened just like slowly. It didn't happen. It's not that I had this idea all in my mind. Just one day happened. Oh yeah, I want to do things for baby. Just slowly. Yeah, I was creating one thing, then the next day I would create something else, and then I was like just suddenly making things for babies. And yeah, I was so happy. Like I loved it.
Oh, that's super cool. And so, what is your process when you want to create something? Do you sketch it first, or do you right away go to creation, or how do you choose colors and this kind of thing?
Yeah, I will normally draw what I want to make. I will normally do a drawing and be like, okay, I want, obviously the final project won't look always the same than the drawing because it's different. But I will be like, okay, I want it to look like this. And then to choose the colors, I have so many different colors now for felt. So I would just start to just put them together and see how they look like. And yeah, it's obviously I would try. If I don't like it, I will just make it again with a different color, and or change the shape. Obviously, there's always something you want to change the details, the final details, like the eyes, the cheeks, the nose. So obviously it's always like just try, and if you don't like it, just make it again or change little things. That's basically how I do my stuff.
And how do you get inspiration for your stories, what you create? Because like on Instagram you have such a cute stories and the images. So
Yeah.
So how does that come to be?
So basically, sometimes it's really hard to find inspiration because it's like, okay, today I don't have any idea. What can I do? So I just start to Pinterest is really good for inspiration. Then I would just Google like different animals and see them in different situations, and I'm like, okay, just from there I would just have an idea of what they would be, because I like to show people how they can interact between them as if they were alive, basically. So, and just like fun pictures of them doing something or cheeky things. So yeah, just like if I have an idea and I haven't taken the picture yet, I would just write them down. I have a list of different ideas I have, because some days you're really inspired, some days you're not. It's like I'm sure we all have these days.
Yeah,
so some days you're like, okay.
Yeah, like
yeah. And I also try to give myself the time. Like some days I won't post anything, because if I don't want to just like push it. I don't want it to be like feel like it's basically forced. Mm-hmm. I prefer it to have like to be like a nice picture and people enjoy it, like rather than just put a picture every single day. I would love to be able to do that, but I don't always have the inspiration, basically, so I don't always do it. I don't post a picture every single day, basically. No. But yeah, I have drawings about what I want to do, how I want to set these pictures. I would create little elements to go with them. Like the other day, I posted one with a little bunny and little bird just pushing some clouds away from the sun. Yeah. So I would just make something just for that picture, obviously. Like I will never use it again, probably. But yeah, I just try to put a lot of effort into each picture, because I actually have so much fun making them, like taking this picture. It can take me a long time. Like the last picture took me like more than 2 hours.
Cool. So just moving.
Yeah. And I saw what I think if someone looks at me while I'm doing this, they will be like, this girl is weird. Because sometimes it's just playing with them as if they were toys, basically. As if I was like a little girl. I put them together and start to move them and be like, okay, what can this little bunny be saying to this little fox? I don't know, and things like that. So yeah, that's how it takes me a while. Every picture is like a completely different thing, but it's good fun. Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, because the stories are really cute. Maybe like a kid's book. Kid's book can be amazing.
Yeah. Many people have told me about it already. Like I'm like, yeah, actually, I would love to take pictures of them instead of illustration as well. Like I would love to do illustration in the future as well, but I need to practice more. I'm not really good at it yet.
But this one would be also different, like if you actually take pictures and create the full story, I think kids would love it. Imagine that the kid has this baby thing, and then they grow up actually with the book as well. So
exactly, yeah. I've thought about it. It would be amazing, yeah. I need to find time to do it, because I struggle with time sometimes, but I would love to. Yeah, it would be amazing. It would be really, really good.
So how do you schedule your day or your week? How do you plan?
Well, yeah, that's quite hard for me. I'm not really organized, and sometimes I struggle with that. But yeah, and then I design like a board or like a daily planner, basically, that I print every day, and I will write down my main goals, my not so important goals, some nice things I want to do throughout the day. So basically I would just schedule my day in like, what is the main thing I need to do? What is basically just like, from the most important thing to the least important. But obviously all of them I need to do like at some point, because if not, I would just like be every day. Like I will just have to do the things from the day before. So this really helps me. I will have like a main goal, like for example, from now to 6 months ahead, I will want to do this goal. I want to achieve this goal. Okay, what do I have to do in the rest of the month, and the rest of in each week, and in each day? So that really helped me to organize my days, because at the beginning I was like just every day doing something random, and I would not know what to do the next day. And instead, I know where I wanted to achieve from now on. So it's really helpful. I would just divide basically a main goal, like a big rock, then just divide it in months and weeks and then days. So that is really helpful for me. I would print every day. I would print like a daily planner.
That's perfect.
To know what to do that day. Yeah, it's really helpful. And obviously, you have to deal with your project plus the orders, so that's quite that's the hardest part, I think.
So what do you do like every day? Is there some daily activity which contributes to your success, like meditation or sport or sleeping or something?
Yeah, I love to hoop, hula hoop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do hula hoop. Like I sometimes I need to have a break, so I would just go to the park, or even at home, I would just make some space.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, and hoop for a while. Yeah, I also go to hoop lessons. So yeah, I have that help. Yeah, I love it. So I do that almost every day, at least to have a break when I'm working non-stop. I would like to have at 5 o'clock, I will have to just like break. Okay, let's have a break. Let's do some hoop, put some cool music, and just like practice a little bit. Yeah, I like that. That's basically the activity I do every day to relax. And,
yeah, that's perfect. I cannot do it.
Clear my mind. No, yeah, it's not that hard.
I tried many times.
Really?
It doesn't work. I don't know. But like it's my whole body is like trying, and then the thing just falls on the floor, and I'm like, oh well.
Really? Yeah, it's hard at the beginning, but then it's not that hard.
That's what I heard.
It's practice. Yeah, no, yeah, it is practice, but it's amazing. It's good fun.
Yeah. And so what are the projects you're working on now, or something exciting which is coming up you can share?
Yeah, well, I have this project about doing patterns to make toys, but to sell the patterns actually, so people can start learning how to make, maybe not the original toys I make, because obviously if not, it's just like showing people like all my stuff but nothing new. So I would like to start, like I have a few already drawings what I want to make, and I have already started making a few of them. So basically new animals, or even the same but with different shapes, or similar style to mine obviously, but different shapes. So yeah, I would love to start selling patterns so people like can learn from like some people have asked me already like if I sell them. So yeah, it's like trying to approach different customers as well, because some people will not want to make the toys, but some people will love to learn how to make them. So it's just kind of like trying to see who else wants to make similar stuff to what I'm making now, or basically the similar style. And then another project is what I told you before about illustration. Yours is an amazing idea, what you were saying, obviously. I do want to do that. Yeah, I love it. But I also want to start drawing. But yeah, I don't really find enough time to practice. It's like I need to practice. You know what I'm talking about. You're really good. Oh my God.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love your illustrations. Honestly, I was looking at them the other day. I'm like, oh wow. So yeah, I don't think I'm capable of like doing such amazing drawings, but something more for kids maybe, and things like that.
It depends like what style you like, because I also tried so many different styles, and like this one what I'm using now, it kind of fits me the most, and it's easier for me to do than the other ones, like as you said, like kids drawing, because like if you have lines or really define something, that's more kind of stressful for me. So
yeah, I know what you mean.
So I guess you have to try different styles in order to find yours.
Yeah, it is true. That is true. Yeah, you have to. But it is true as well that sometimes something is really easy for you, and other style will not be like will be really hard to
Yeah,
achieve. Like,
exactly.
yeah, it is just like I think it's just to try different things and see how it goes. But I couldn't really find the time yet. I love to sit down and just start drawing.
So right now, how do you combine your income? Is it like Etsy, and then you want to sell the patterns, you say? So do you also combine
Yeah.
more incomes, or right now it's Etsy mainly?
Yeah, right now it's mainly Etsy. I also have a website, but I do put all my energies on my Etsy shop right now. I would like to have my own website, like proper own website in the future. But so far now Etsy is like my main income. Yeah, I rely on it 100%.
And what about the patterns? Where do you want to sell the patterns? Or maybe do you want to do also like tutorial videos?
I would like to, yeah. I was thinking about that the other day, like how much I would love to have a blog and teach people different like things, how to do some sewing and some tricks and little tips as well. Yeah, but these things that you would love to do, and sometimes you just don't find the time. So it is like I would love to do in the future. Yeah, like videos as well, and yeah, tutorials just with pictures and. Yeah, it's a big market as well, and I want people to get like be able to make stuff, and I think I have so many ideas that I would like people to see and see how it works as well, like see if people like my ideas, my toys.
And so how do you find new paid projects or new sales? How do you do your networking? Is it through like events you go to, or is it online, or how do you do it?
Yeah, no, really. I don't really go to events or anything like that. I just work online. Um, I try to reach people more with Instagram. Well, Etsy obviously it's a huge market, so much people can find you through Etsy, and then Pinterest as well.
Yeah.
I post some of my pictures on Pinterest, so those three are my main media, basically how people get to know my job. I don't really go. I don't think I'm really good at facing people and explaining them what I do and things like that. I think I want my product to talk for me instead of me trying to convince someone. I just post pictures and show people what I'm capable of. I think I'm better because sometimes I don't feel confident enough with my English, and I just think I can speak better with my pictures rather than talking to someone.
Yeah, but I mean, it's perfect. I think you express yourself like great, and you have such a good energy, so I think that's really nice. And
yeah, I think. Yeah, tell me something.
and so how did you find the felt kind of material, or how did you choose the brand you want to use? Someone advise you, or what is it? What do you use?
Well, basically, yeah, it's what I use is 100% Woolfelt. So it's hard to find a brand that makes it. Like normally it's a blend thing, like wool and polyester or something else. So I found this website on like this brand that is from Holland. They sell this amazing wool felt, and it's also not good for kids. It's like it has the it is approved for kids toy. Okay. So I was like, this is perfect. So now I from the very beginning I bought from them, and it's nowadays I keep buying of them because it's the best one I found. I tried to find somewhere else just to see other variations, but I haven't found anything similar yet. So I have that one, and for colors that this brand doesn't provide, I have an English website that they provide other colors, but I mainly buy from the brand in Holland. It's my favorite one, basically.
Do you want to share the brand, or it's a secret?
It's called Hollandfeld.
Okay.
I think that's a name. Yeah, I think it's. Let me double check. I'll double check for you. But it's called the Hollandfeld.
Yeah. And what about the British one?
Yeah, Hollandfeld.
Yeah. Okay.
The thing with the British one is that they provide something that they buy off someone else.
Oh, okay.
It's not the main brand, so I'm not sure which is the main brand. I couldn't find it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Woolfelt is amazing.
Yeah.
Really.
That's super cool. I mean, it's such a funny name.
Yeah, yeah, Woolfelt.
And what about like some books or something when you learned from, or did you learn online how to create these things, or maybe some art books or live teaching books, something you can recommend?
Well, not really. I'm just like self-taught. Like as I study fashion design, it's like sewing is something I've been doing for so long, like many, many years. I think more than 15 years, if not longer. So I kind of like, what I did at the beginning was just try to find how people was creating toys, because I've never done it before. So what I used to do, obviously, I would make clothes, but not toys. So I will have the knowledge of how to sew and things like that. But then I will try to find like the joints for the yarns and things like that I decided not to add to my toys, because I want them to be more like safe. So I try to do all by stitching the arms to the body and things like that. So basically, what I was trying to find if there was a special technique or something you have to use for toys. But then I went through different websites or people who will be giving tutorials, blogs, or any website where they had tutorials on how to make toys or soft toys basically, or dolls as well, to see if there was a special technique on how to make them. And what I found out is like every single person will have a different technique, a different way to make them. So I kind of like mixed everything that I read and the style I wanted to have. This is like the result is what you see nowadays, obviously, in my brand. So it is more, that's what I love as well, that you have the freedom to use any technique and make them the way you want. And every single time you will have something different. Like the results are going to be different. So it's a really, really good material to work with. The felt is really nice. I love it.
And what are the next animals you want to create? Do you know already?
Yeah, I have a few that I have already made, but I still have to change a few details. So I'm working on a unicorn.
Ah, cool.
I'm working on a monkey, on a lamb, and what else was I working in? On a deer, a little deer.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I have a few more, but I haven't started them yet. So I want to increase the amount of animals I have. I just don't want to do it all at once, because obviously I have to get used. Obviously, if I add more, I will have some extra orders as well. So I need to work like just to get used with the times and everything.
Yeah. And what is maybe the most popular one right now?
The elephant. The elephant is the most popular. Joyce, look, it's good. Over here.
It's the cutest thing ever.
It's really popular, yeah. And then the bunny is also very popular. I mean, all of them are popular, but I can see on the sales that the elephant is the most popular one.
Yeah, like the pattern with like sales.
Yeah. People love the elephant.
And when you were a kid, did you want it to be a fashion designer, or kind of you didn't know when you were a child what you want to be, or did you have like concrete dream?
Well, I knew I wanted to create stuff. I just didn't really know what I wanted to create. I think I never thought about being a fashion designer. No, not really. But I remember when I finished high school, I was like, okay, what should I study? Because I want to create, but I just couldn't decide. I didn't really find any career that would suit me. So I was like, well, I actually like the idea of creating clothes and design. But when I started studying it, I was like, I found amazing that the creating process. It was amazing to me. But then all the idea of like the runaway and all this wasn't something I would like. It wasn't appealing for me. Like I was just like, not really. Maybe I don't want to do that. I do love creating clothes, but I didn't like the idea of me being a famous designer, or it wasn't something I was looking for. So I I just realized all I wanted to do is just create something with my hands, like just like give me some materials and I will be able to do something with them. So yeah, it's just this whole brand just happened little bit by chance and a little bit just because obviously I was just trying to find a way to create and to show what I'm capable of doing. And yeah, but I don't remember, like I remember when I was a child, I was just like, I would love to make things, not really a dream about, like if you ask me when I was a child, I would just be like, oh, I want to be a dog, I want to be an architecture, I want to be a veteran. So I had so many things I wanted to do, but not really like something I was sure about.
And how did you choose the school? It was in your area, or did you look like online where you want to study, or you studied back home?
You mean university?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was back home in Buenos Aires. So yeah, it was just there. It was a public university. It's like the main one in my country. So I checked which careers were available to do what I wanted to do, and basically I found the fashion designer career was the one I liked the most, basically. Yeah. So that's why I joined that career, and I finished it. And I was creating clothes for a while, actually. I still create clothes when I'm back home. As it's summer, people ask me to make bikinis.
Cool.
Yes, I make custom bikinis for girls back home, because I started that when I was living in Mexico. I was living in Playa del Carmen. It's just like summer the whole year. So I was selling bikinis there. Every time I live somewhere, I try to create stuff in there instead of just working for someone else. So I started making bikinis. Yeah. I started making bikinis there. And then every time I go back home to Argentina, I make bikinis as well. It's just to have some fun as well.
Yeah. Colorful and because
I will decide also the print. It's good. It's good fun.
Oh, that's perfect. And is there something like a tool or medium you bought, maybe which simplifies your life when you are creating projects?
Well, the sewing machine, definitely.
Do you have a favorite brand, or which one do you have?
Singer. I have a Singer.
Okay. I am not sewing, so I don't know if that's a good one, but if someone wants to try it, then...
Yeah, it's one of the main brands for sewing machines. So,
cool. Yeah. Do you have like some specific model, which is like awesome model of this sewing machine?
It's called heavy duty, so it's like it's semi-industrial basically, so you can be sewing all day and it will work for you. It's really fast as well. So yeah, it's my favorite one, the best one I've had so far.
Oh, perfect.
So it's really, really helpful. Like my toys, I hand stitch them. They're made by hand. But most of the rest of the items I have, I obviously I use the sewing machine, because if not, I will never finish. I will be sewing forever. But yeah, the main character is made by hand, and the rest of the items, they're handmade as well, but with the sewing machine.
So you have like the clouds, so you have the hell with the sewing machine and like finishing touches. Okay.
Yeah,
because I imagined it that you do it like everything by hand, and I was like, oh, I would just sew my hand to it. So like,
but that happens sometimes, though. But I started doing the clouds by hand, like hand stitching the clouds. But it was taking me forever. Yeah. And I wanted the little toy, the little animal to be the main thing in the mobile. So I decided I was going to make everything else with a sewing machine, and then just the little animal by hand. Yeah. So yeah, it works perfectly.
And how do you kind of decide what to do, like a project, because you are busy? Like, what is your kind of self-talk when you have to say no to some projects? How does that look like? What do you decide upon, like?
Well, obviously, if it's a sale, I will never say no to it, because it's on my Etsy shop, so people go and buy the stuff from there. But when it comes to a project, like, it's not part of my business, basically. I decide to say yes or no. If, for example, if I'm really busy, if I'm not busy, I will try to say yes. But if I'm really busy, it will depend on how much it adds up to my career or my experience, basically. That's what I is really important to me. Like if it adds up, I will always try to say yes
Yeah.
and try to find the time, because obviously it's more experience for me. That's basically what makes me decide to say yes or not. It just has to add up to my experience.
Yeah, and what kind of keeps you motivated? Because we also talked about like up and down days. So when
Oh
you have
yeah.
the day like, oh, so how do you kind of motivate yourself to go like back up?
Yeah, well, I find drawing really like inspiring, because it's just like you're just like it's just you're drawing and there's like things like doodles, and suddenly you find out you have something. Oh wow, this can work like this. That helps me a lot, and also going through pictures like anywhere, like Pinterest or Google them, or just like different shops,
Yeah.
or if I'm on my phone and I see something really inspiring, I would just screenshot and just have a look at all my screenshots. Like I have a folder. Like my screenshots are really inspiring for me. So like I always take screenshot pictures. I think they're really inspiring or amazing. And maybe obviously I'm not gonna do the same, but it's something, just maybe a little detail in that picture that makes me think of a really cool picture I could take, or a nice animal I could create, and things like that. Yeah, like
And
it's
and how do you take pictures? Do you have like a stand with the camera, or do you take it with the phone, or how does it look like?
no, I have a camera for my Instagram pictures, and I have a background like a white cardboard, big one. So I put it in the background and use it as a like I will stick clouds to it, or just put it on the floor, not on the floor, on a table, and just put the animals in the position, add stuff. So yeah, I use a professional camera, or sometimes with a tripod, or without it. It depends on which picture I'm taking. And yeah, I will take the picture vertical or horizontal, like laying down. But yeah, I don't really take pictures with my phone. I've done it before, but I try to always take with the camera, because it's really good for the details. And as they're tiny, you need to get like a proper picture of them.
So what do you have? Because sometimes people are wondering, always when they want to start, like what camera, or do you have also like a special lens? Do you have like Canon or Nikon or something else?
I've got a Nikon, yeah. DSL.
And what lens, like if like really like detailed lens or?
Yeah, just the basic ones. I have different lenses, but I use always the same one. It's 18 to 55 meters or millimeters. I'm not really sure how to describe it in English, but it's 18 to 55. It's the basic one that all the cameras come with. I just use that one. I try to play a lot with the focusing and just focus and have the background sometimes not focus, and I try to play with like the depth of the picture and the colors as well. Yeah.
Definitely. And because I also use like Nikon for like taking pictures, and it's super cool with like zooming in. So, and people are always like which type, you have. So I have like Nikon D90, and it's one of the older models. And so I don't know if you have the newer one, or I don't know.
I've got the D5000, 5100. That's the one I have.
Yeah, I think there's like a bit newer model, but I think they take like similar pictures, so people can just find like what is the better offer maybe online, because they are more or less the same.
Yeah, this one I got it like 2 or 3 years ago, but still does the work. It's really good.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, you can always get a better one, but like a basic professional camera would always help. I think it's perfect. Depending on which kind of pictures you want to take as well. For this purpose, this one's perfect. I'm more than happy with it.
Definitely. And so let's talk about the future. One of the last questions I want to ask you, it's like if you have like 5 to 10 years in the future, what would be your dream scenario? Like what is happening, what are you doing, and what projects are like around you? Well,
I was obviously like would love this brand to be a bigger company, but I'm still trying to figure out how I want it to be a bigger company. Like, I don't know if I want like a huge company, like all over the world, and like I'm not sure if I want that. I want it to still have this homemade and handmade style. So that is the hard part when you want to grow. Like, it has to be handmade, but you also have to deal with industrial things. So I'm not really sure how I want to face the future in that way. But I know, obviously, I want to keep doing this. I would love my brand also to help communities. I already started with a community in Nepal. I buy my felt balls from them. Like, it's a community of women in need. So I love it. It makes you feel good that you're also giving something back to the community. So I would like to approach more other communities, like cooperatives as well, like maybe by them helping me with my brand, I'm helping them in return as well. So that's something I'm really planning for the future of my brand. Something more like cooperation between like a community and things that they can make. So it's what I mainly think about when I think about the future of the brand.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm looking forward to see like how the expansion will go.
I hope so.
And what about like far future? That would be like my last question to ask you. What would you like to be remembered for in 100 years or more?
That's a hard question. I mean, I love when my brand brings joy to people. I love when people laugh at the pictures I post. People when they tell me, "Oh, like you make me smile with your pictures." So basically, that's like if we're talking about my brand, that's what I will talk people like. I would love people to be talking about, like, even in 100 years. If like we know brands that have been more than 100 years in the market, and they always make you think about something. So basically, I would love people in 100 years time, if my brand still exists, to think about, oh yeah, what a curly life, oh it's so cute, or it's like funny, or like make people smile. That's what I want to. That's what I always try to approach when I make my stuff and when I take pictures. I just want people to smile and make a happier world, basically.
Perfect. Yeah, I really like that. And do you maybe have like a quote you like, or something you would put on the board like for people to see? Or if you have like a final piece of advice for young artists or creators before we say goodbye?
Yeah, well, as I was saying at the beginning, like I would say, if you want to do something and you want to create, or you have like that artist side and you want people to know what you're doing, just go for it. Like, just don't be afraid of failing, because there's always that chance, but it's also the chance that people get to know your stuff and what you are capable of. So don't be afraid of it. Just go for it and try, because if you don't try, like I would say, just think about your future, and if you're old, what would you like to be doing by then, or what would you regret of not doing? Like, so that's what made me think, like when I turned 30, I was like, well, I don't want to keep crying or thinking, oh, I haven't done what I want to do. I want to I have to start one day. So I decided to start. Like, just do it. Don't waste your time thinking that you can fail, because that's it. That's something we kind of always fail, but we can also succeed. So, and also if you don't try, like if you don't fail as well, sometimes you need to fail to learn from your mistakes, and that's more experience to you. So everything is useful for being experience for your life and to get better, like to be better in the future. So yeah, I would say that just go for it. Just try and show the people, show the world what you can do.
Perfect. This was so much fun, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Oh,
It's so cool.
thank you so
and,
much.
Thanks everyone for joining as well. And it would be super cool. Maybe we can do like a follow-up in a year or so, and so everyone can see where you are.
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you. I had a lot of fun doing this.
So it'll be cool. So thanks again, and see you in the next episode.
All right, bye.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and let me know in comments. Also, please subscribe to my channel for more videos because I post new interview every single workday. You can also find the resources mentioned in this episode at artsideoflife.com. Just type a guest name in the search bar. There is also a little freebie waiting for you, so go check it out. If you want to listen to the interviews on the go, make sure to check out the podcast episodes at artsideoflife.com/podcast. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and don't forget to inspire each other. I will see you guys in the next episode.